Hi everyone, I'm Angie, VP of Sales and Marketing at Crane. We're a women-founded and women-led creative agency. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome you to another edition of our newsletter, Women Who Network: Stories of Connection and Success. As I always say, networking has played a key role in my career, and I have found through many conversations that it is an area that many women still don't feel confident in or need a little push to be encouraged to explore further. At Crane, we're motivated to inspire and empower professional women to feel more confident in networking. We believe that by sharing stories and experiences, we can encourage more women to connect and grow together. I'm super excited to introduce our special guest today, Jessica. Thank you so much for joining us and being part of this initiative. I'm confident that your story will motivate many women to embrace networking with more confidence. Please let us know more about you. Can you introduce yourself for our community?
Yes, and thank you so much for asking me to be a part of this. I'm so excited to be here, and I absolutely love what you're doing here, and I'm sure it will inspire many women. So my name is Jessica Near McDonald. I am a trademark and copyright attorney at Near MCD, an intellectual property law firm. I founded the law firm about 4 years ago, and it's been a fun adventure ever since. A great way to connect with creatives and builders, getting to know what they're doing and learning how I can help protect what they're building. So, yeah. And before that, I worked in the state legislature. So there were a lot of opportunities for networking, and it's definitely played a huge role in my career.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Let's start with the questions. How has your approach to networking evolved throughout your career?
There was a heavy emphasis on in-person connections, I would say, when I started my career in the Florida state legislature, which in my opinion is the way to go. Person to, when you meet face to face, there's just it's hard to really try to replicate that. And as we went through the pandemic and as video chats are more the norm, while I still think that in person is still so important, I would say that the connecting online and networking online has increased just so much for me. And it's something that is really, I think, important to really make sure that you're doing if you're not able to do as much in person or maybe don't quite feel as comfortable in person.
That's really good for you to say. Almost everyone that I've interviewed has said something about the pandemic, the before and after of networking. Yes. And it's really amazing to know because, for example, our first experience during the pandemic, we were hosting a chapter of Ladies One on Design. It's a nonprofit for women within the creative industry. And we were doing these in person events. And when the pandemic hit, we obviously couldn't do more events, but we started reaching out to women in different countries, and we started having people from Spain, from Costa Rica, and it was pretty cool. And it was the first time that that was accessible to us, even in mindset. So it's really interesting what it brought in terms of contact with people in that regard, like these types of events, even this initiative, right? To
Definitely.
be able to do it via Zoom is pretty cool. So thank you so much for sharing that. And what strategies do you use to establish genuine and meaningful connections at networking events, for example, or within your networking strategy normally?
Yeah. Number one, I think is listening. I think that it's something so I'm a lawyer and we do a lot of talking. I think too much talking. And we need to know to listen. I think that's applicable for a lot of different careers. But as far as being able to establish genuine and meaningful connections, I really want to know what my clients are looking for, be able to show them that I can listen and produce for them. I think the first step is really being able to listen and hear really what they're looking for. So number one, above all, is to make sure that you're listening. I would also say that the follow-up is also really important. That really helps, I think, establish not just a connection, but the genuine and meaningful aspect that you spoke about. It shows that you listen. If you can bring in something that you spoke about. I mean, a lot of the times I feel like I'll have a conversation with someone and then something will remind me of them based on our conversation. So I try to follow up and remember, like, oh yeah, like I can help somebody or connect somebody else. To me is one of the greatest part about networking. And a fun part of my job too. So yeah, those were, I say, top strategies.
Oh, that's amazing. And I listened to someone that I admire so much during a podcast this week talking about the importance of understanding someone else's goals. So, for example, if you work with someone, maybe your boss, you need to know what she's looking for within the company. So, for example, she's looking to shine within the company, or she's looking to have a numerous team and you are part of that goal. Or if you work with someone, you also need to convey your goals and know where they're coming from, like their goals as well. So I think it's pretty cool to have in mind that we need to listen and understand each other's goals in order to build a meaningful network and continue to nurture the network and understanding, where to lead anyone or how you can be led towards your goal and through your path. So it's pretty important definitely to listen and to understand each other. And are you part of any communities right now, Jessica?
Yeah, I would say that I'm a part of a few different communities. And I'm happy for that because I think that we all probably have more than one passion.
Mhm.
And that to me is one of the best ways to actually network. And if somebody's intimidated by networking, I think the best place to start is to follow, think about your passions and follow them. So among the groups that I would say I'm more active in includes artists, creatives, and even attorneys, different groups that are interested in blockchain technology, that are interested in artificial intelligence. So kind of emerging tech. I've just found I've learned so much from people that are kind of playing around with new technologies or also having similar interests. I also have 2 kids and I'm active in those school communities, which have been so great. Like I've learned so much from parents that have older kids, or even just like how things work with the different schools. That's been amazing. I've met some incredible people through there. Yeah, those are some of the main groups. I also like I do a lot of volunteering through my kids as well, and meet people through there too.
That's amazing for you to say, because sometimes when we think about networking, we think of a specific event within the industry that we work in, but we apply networking like in everyday life when we go to a parents and teacher meeting or conference, when we meet somebody, on the street or whatever. And that's something that might help more women understand that networking is simply interacting within a community or wanting to find out more about the other person, their goals, their expectations, and not so much like going to an event and feeling so pressured to talk to a lot of people. It's like you can network with people all around you, and it doesn't have to be in a specific venue for you to want to know more about each other and understand each other. I think that's pretty cool that you said that, because it is totally true. And I think it might help more women understand that networking is part of our everyday life. So it's cool that you mentioned it. And can you share a pivotal moment in your career where networking played a key role?
Yes. Oh my goodness. There's a few that stick out. So I'm trying to think, right now in my everyday for my own business, when I think about, I have some of my major clients, they've all have specific networking relationships that has just generated from word of mouth, just like, how can I help you? And then that's turned into them referring me to somebody else. And so really it's a lot of that has been networking through networking. And that's played such a major role in my own business. So sorry, it's hard to pick an exact moment, but I would say the most unexpected opportunity probably came from an opportunity I got to in college. And this was, I guess, following the passions. I was really proud to be able to vote, and I thought voting was really important. Oh, right. I think that it's an important contribution to being a citizen. And from there, somebody through networking, someone had shared, oh, there's a group of students went to the University of Florida that are going up to Washington, D.C. And I thought, wow, that's really amazing. really sounded like an amazing opportunity to learn so much. And at that time, we had just elected first African-American president of our country. It's a huge moment. And I was like, wow, it would be really neat to be there. And at that time, I didn't think I was going, to the inauguration itself, but just to be with other students. And there is when I met somebody who had an extra ticket to the inauguration. Like, it was wow. It gives me chills to think about it. I mean, it was like freezing cold. I'm a Miami girl, and it was like wind chill at 8 degrees or something crazy like that. But it was an incredible moment. I got a ticket to go to the inauguration and just like be there among so many people that came from all over. To my left was someone from Hawaii, behind me, someone from Texas. I mean, people from all over together, just celebrating a very special moment for the country. So that was so unexpected and such a cool opportunity. And that was really from networking, from meeting people, from expressing interest, from following the passions. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. I think this question has brought amazing stories. And thank you for keep thinking and finding one, because it's so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Wow, that's a huge moment to be part of. That's so cute.
It was, yeah, it was neat. People from, all
All over.
different
Yes.
sides of the aisle together. It's really, really cool.
That was so great. And what advice would you give to women who are just starting their professional careers or are hesitant to engage in networking?
Yeah. Going back to the finding your passions and following it, I don't think that, usually if you're interested in one career or the next, there's something in there that makes you passionate about it, right? And so it doesn't need to quite be like your traditional industry events. I think that it's important to think about it like that. Like, I think you could still make meaningful connections. You can still interact with and learn from so many people, right? Like, I think that sometimes we go to an event and feel like I need to go and meet so many people. And if I don't meet so many people, then it was a failure. And I disagree. I think it's more about those meaningful connections that you mentioned before, and, being purposeful with that. I have been to plenty of events where I went, and a large event, and I thought, I'd meet a few people, but I ended up speaking to one or two people the whole time. And and that's okay, because it's really the meaningful connections, I think, are the big takeaway. And you never know what can stem from those types of relationships.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Jessica, for sharing your incredible insights with us. It's truly inspiring to hear how networking has changed your journey. And to all of you listening, reading, or watching, remember, your network is your net worth. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories in our next edition of Women Who Network. And if you want to be part of Propose Someone for this space, please email me to angie@crane.com. And until next time, keep networking and growing. Bye.
Bye.